We all know that SML changed forever when they got the cease and desist letter from Nintendo, forcing them to stop using Nintendo characters. However, this certainly hasn't stopped Logan from making some very small and some very obvious references to Nintendo since then. And today, we're gonna go over all of them, starting with one of the earliest references. In SML movie, Logan tries to go see the Super Marvin Bros. Movie. In this video, we see the SML crew as their puppets get done filming an episode early, and they decide to spend their free time going to see the Super Marvin Bros. Movie. Unfortunately for Logan, when he tries to pay for a ticket, he learns that the company Nintendo has banned him from seeing the movie at every theater around the world.
I want to see the Marvin Bros. Movie, please.
You know you can't see that.
Well, I thought me and the company were cool. Like, I stopped using their characters. I thought me and Nintendo were cool.
No, they hate you.
Logan tries in vain several different ways to see the movie, like sneaking in with the help of the rest of the cast, but he keeps getting caught and eventually gets arrested, with his punishment being that he has to get his eyes and ears removed so he can permanently never watch the movie. This whole video is a not so subtle tongue-in-cheek reference to the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out around the same time, which in fact was super popular. And with Logan wanting to capitalize on the success of it, I think it was a great video, all things considered. But this isn't the only time we see Logan capitalize off another event, as we see the same thing happen in a similar way in SML movie Jeffy's Nintendo Swap 2. In this video, we see that Jeffy really wants a Nintendo Swap 2, the hot new gaming system on the market. He tells Marvin to go get it for him, since he promised that he would do it a few months ago. Marvin, being Marvin of course, totally forgets about pre-ordering it, so he rushes to the store, tries to grab one, but he sees that it's sold out, and he decides to leave with a PlayStation Portal instead, and hears afterwards from the Lone Dolphin that the Nintendo Swap 2 is sold out everywhere. When Marvin gets home, Jeffy's pissed about getting the wrong thing, and he ends up breaking the console before Marvin can return it, making Marvin even more desperate to get Jeffy the Nintendo Swap 2. He tries and fails to return the PlayStation Portal, but when that fails, he bribes Brooklyn Guy to tell Jeffy that he did order the console, and they just happen to be sold out. This lie gets interrupted though when the Lone Dolphin comes to the door with the Nintendo Swap 2, bragging about how he got it and rubbing it in everyone's face. Marvin eventually just ends up getting fed up and decides to beat him up instead, stealing it and finally causing Jeffy to be happy.
Daddy, I want that! Or old stinkhole couch!
Marvin, you gonna let him bitch you like that?
Wait, why would you bring it here if you're not gonna sell it to me?
Just to brag.
You know what? He's a dolphin. We can take him. Come on, guys.
This whole video is a pretty clear reference to the shortage and demand for the Nintendo Switch 2 when it came out back in July of 2025. And all things considered, it again was a pretty funny way for Logan to talk about Nintendo without really talking about Nintendo. But what about the time where Logan accidentally showed something Nintendo related in a video and made jokes about it? Well, we see that in SML movie Jeffy Goes to Epic Universe. In this video, Jeffy asks Marvin if they can go to Disney World, but Marvin is tired of Disney, so they end up going to Epic Universe instead. They get there and then wonder what's behind the green pipe at one of the entrances in the park, and they plan on going in until they're stopped by Brooklyn Guy from going in there.
Huh, Jeffy, I wonder what's inside that green pipe looking thing.
I don't know, Danny. Let's go check it out.
All right, let's go.
Where the do you think you're going?
Oh, we're new to Epic Universe.
Have you lost your goddamn mind being here?
Unfortunately, after this encounter, we don't really see any more of Epic Universe, but instead, we see a Judge Poobie scene, with Jeffy and Marvin being thrown in jail afterwards, after hanging out with Bubbles, all pretty standard in modern SML, for better or worse. Obviously, this whole video is a reference to the new Universal Studios park called Epic Universe, which has a part of the park dedicated to Nintendo called Super Nintendo World, with a Mario and Donkey Kong world inside of it. Jeffy Goes to Epic Universe is a pretty insignificant video in the grand scheme of things, but throughout SML, we've had several other little references that could only be described as Logan poking the bear. We see great examples of this when Brooklyn Guy comes in Jeffy's Lego competition with a Poltergeist 3000, claiming that he just flat out stole it from a guy whose name started with an L.
Ghostbusters! Hey there, somebody called Ghostbusters? You need me to suck up a ghost with my vacuum? We are so sued.
Another time is in Jeffy Gets Ignored, where Junior and Cody are hanging out, and they make sure that the terms that they use aren't going to be a problem for Nintendo.
Whee!
Wee! I'm having so much fun! Wee! W-E wee.
W-E-Wee, yeah.
Hey, I don't want anybody to get confused what we're talking about.
Yeah, hey Junior, it's kind of hot in here. Can you turn on the fan?
Why don't you do it?
Me? M-E, me.
Yeah, you. Go flip the light switch.
No.
And even being so sensitive to try to not mention Nintendo early on, that they didn't want Banjo-Kazooie to be in the video Jeffy's Adult Happy Meal, thinking that he would get them sued when he's actually owned by Microsoft instead of Nintendo.
No, you have to get out of here. You're part of the bad company that tried to sue us.
Well, no, he's actually owned by Microsoft.
He is?
Yeah, he's owned by Rare, which is a subsidiary of Microsoft.
But his first game was on the 64 console.
Yeah, but then Microsoft bought the rights to him. That's why the third game is so shitty on the Xbox 360.
What would actually happen though if you had a character in SML that hadn't been seen for a while since the cease and desist letter, but Logan still wanted to put that character in the show? Well, that's exactly what happened with Black Yoshi, as most of the other Nintendo characters had been converted to puppets like Mario and Bowser Jr., but Black Yoshi had been left in the dust for a while, all up until he made a reappearance in SML movie It's Ya Boy Dougie. In this video, we see that Marvin is tired of Booger being destructive, so he reaches out to Brooklyn Guy for help, with Rose eventually giving him the idea of getting another dinosaur to help with the situation. Brooklyn Guy brings out his machine to grab a dinosaur from the past, but he says that they'll need a way to bait out the dinosaur into coming, with the fried chicken that he was eating because it was the only option on the table. They throw the chicken into the portal, get a catch, and out comes a black dinosaur that loves chicken and sounds pretty familiar.
Where'd he go?
Ooh, that chicken was good. He can talk?
The dinosaur gets some more chicken from everyone and calls himself Ya Boy Dougie, and begins to make his personality very clear. He begs to start playing Call of Duty after Jeffy walks in, and proceeds to buy map packs and gets dripped out after taking Marvin's wallet. Marvin gets super frustrated and tells Dougie he can stay only under some specific circumstances, which Dougie agrees to, bringing him back into the SML cast permanently. All things considered, bringing Black Yoshi back is a genius way to get him into the cast without Nintendo getting all pissed off. But what if Logan honestly just went to the straight up deep end and pushed his luck as far as he could without getting in trouble? Well, we see that opportunity in our final 3 videos. The first one being the start of these lawsuit-worthy videos is SML movie Marvin's Brother. In the video, we see Marvin and Jeffy chilling on the couch, with Jeffy talking about his testicles, unsurprisingly enough. But thankfully, this is interrupted when Rose sees that Marvin got a letter from his brother Lewis, saying that he's coming to visit Marvin since he hasn't seen him in a while, with Marvin freaking out since he doesn't want Lewis to think he's a bum. Marvin goes to the door, and as soon as Lewis comes into the video, he drops an absolute truckload of Nintendo references. But some include referencing Princess Peach, the brothers playing tennis, golf, and racing go-karts, then turning into a tanuki, and eating red mushrooms with polka dots on them. Eventually, it gets to be so bad that Brooklyn Guy comes in and has to blow an air horn every time Lewis gets a little too close to saying something that could get them sued, with him blowing the air horn basically for the rest of the video. Things escalate from there when Jeffy comes back into the room dressed like a ghost, causing Lewis to suck him into his vacuum cleaner like a ghost from one of the games. Then Lewis finds out that Marvin was lying about being a doctor, an astronaut, and they make up with each other. Not before Brooklyn Guy gets fed up and tells everybody to subscribe before they get sued. Hopefully that's not happening anytime soon.
You all want to just get together and play a game of Marvin Party?
Oh, get Marvin. That's the last straw. Been nice knowing you. Pack it up, everybody, because they're gonna shut us down. So get ready for that. Hey, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Maybe we can hit 10 million before they finally shut us down for good.
When this video came out, it was a massive hit, bringing in old fans and new fans all at the same time, all of whom were happy that Luigi was back as Lewis, with all the little references to Nintendo and even old SML. Logan continued to bring him back after this, having a little small appearance in SML movie Lewis the Babysitter, where he makes a few references to Nintendo, but Lewis really takes it up another level when he comes back in SML movie The Coolest Uncle. In this video, we see Jackie Chu tell all of the students of YU Dumb Elementary School to bring in their uncles for show and tell, and plans on giving them awesome prizes for having the coolest uncle. We see that Cody plans on bringing in his uncle Skeeter, and Penelope is planning on bringing in her uncle Jonathan. Jeffy then goes home and asks if it's okay if he brings his uncle Lewis, with Marvin being against it, until Lewis comes in and straight up jumps through a warp pipe instead.
Listen, I'm not bringing... Oh my god, what is that? Yahoo! We're so f***ing sued. Why would you jump out of a pipe?
Lewis agrees to go with Jeffy to school the next day. And when they get there, we see Penelope show off Jonathan and Cody show off his Uncle Skeeter. But Jeffy definitely steals the show when it's Uncle Lewis's turn. He comes in dressed up in a tanuki suit with a flower and says that if he eats the flower, he can shoot fire. Obviously being a reference to fire flowers. And when he eats it, he literally ends up setting the school on fire, causing Jeffy to just end up taking the prize instead. Not a ton of references, but it just shows how Logan is pushing the boundary further and further. But with our last entry on the list, we see the most recent example of Logan just completely removing all the boundaries and more or less just holding up a neon sign to Nintendo that says "Sue me." But before we get to that, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe. But anyways, we see this masterpiece in SML movie Jeffy's Evil Uncles. In this video, we see Jeffy, Marvin, and Rose hanging out on the couch with Jeffy showing off his new skill of eating cockroaches and talking about Rose's camel toe disgustingly enough when they're interrupted by Shrek calling for help. They go in to see that Shrek has clogged the toilet horrendously, and it's pretty gross, with Marvin refusing to clean it, and Brooklyn Guy refusing to clean it as well. Brooklyn Guy then comes up with the idea to call Lewis's plumbing company to unclog it, and even he refuses to clean it. This then gives Brooklyn Guy the idea to just have the cloning machine clone Marvin and Lewis to make the clones clean the mess instead. And this seems like a good idea until it backfires when a cockroach gets into the cloning machine with them. And when the machine turns on, it creates two evil clones who name themselves Warvin and Wall Lewis, and rightfully commenting what all the viewers and even Nintendo is probably thinking.
Turn this thing, and... Alright, that should clone him. Holy f***ing lawsuit.
Who are these people?
I'm Warvin. And I'm Waluis.
Warvin and Wall Lewis refuse to clean the toilet when they come out, until they strike a deal with Jeffy and Marvin. Whoever can win the most party games won't have to clean the toilet, and the loser will have to clean it instead. Jeffy and Marvin compete with them at team basketball, but end up losing horribly. But they're able to absolutely decimate the clones whenever they play beer pong. But this ends up blowing up in Jeffy and Marvin's face when they get super drunk, and it's time to play darts, causing them to lose at darts, and forcing Jeffy and Marvin to clean the toilet. This episode was honestly hilarious, and a long time coming, especially with Lewis mentioning Warvin and Wall Lewis in his debut video. However, at this point, Logan is probably going to keep making more and more references to Nintendo in future SML videos, so if you want to keep Nintendo away from suing Logan another day, then you should subscribe.